Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is another of the Trevor and his Dragon series of poems. This one is called Dragon Menace. Dragon is a menace, was the word upon the street. Where that monster needs to be is in a jailhouse suite. Decent people won't be safe until he's in a cage. That the misfit didn't care intensified their rage. Dragon was relentless, playing pranks and telling jokes, constantly inventing novel ways to trick and hoax. Lightning fast with repartee, a master of the pun, in the comic scheme of things, he'd never been outdone. Tricks like adding fart pills to the ale at Murphy's bar, wiring up electric fence to Mayor Braswick's car, putting uncooked popcorn on the stove at fireworks shop and laughing at the panic as the seeds began to pop. Prankster had no boundaries and lived up to his name, bereft of fear or conscience, of embarrassment or shame. As Dragon was a dragon, he just didn't understand. Society have laws and rules, and dragon fun is banned. Best friends Trevor and Dragon lived at 42 Mill Lane, rented from the council, who as part of their campaign to gentrify the neighbourhood had signalled their intent to rid the town of nuisances by doubling Trevor's rent. When this idea didn't work, a motion was agreed. Dragon was a danger that the townsfolk didn't need. Councillor John Blackheart said, let's put in a request. Exterminator, euthanise, Trev's laughing, scaly guest. With Trevor unprotected, we'll instruct the town police to exile him forever and can terminate his lease. All those on the council put their hands up in assent and turned to Mayor Braswick, who approved and gave consent. Trevor and his dragon, though the subject of debate, carried on oblivious to their intended fate, joining online insect clubs, assuming Mayor's name. Claimed she was an expert, not an insect she can't tame. Hornets were her expertise. She taught them to perform. Could they send immediately a really angry swarm? Then Trev told some knock-knock jokes while Vicar said the mass, and Dragon offered bacon rolls to Porky's slimming class. When they called to pay the rent, the clerk was rather rude, gleefully informing him the lease won't be renewed. Landlord says they want you out and decent tenants in. Ones with proper values, said the bigot with a grin. In the queue behind them, someone shouted, we believe you and yours are trouble, and we want you two to leave. Trevor looked disheartened as he turned around to go. Dragon, staring at the clerk, said, what I want to know is why the landlord wants us out. We've always paid on time, kept up with the maintenance, not involved in crime, never rowed with neighbours or had parties late at night. Why does Braswick want us out? There's something not quite right. Smug-faced man behind the desk, replying with a sneer, stated, you're the reason decent folk don't want him here. No one in this town will care if you two disappeared. When the mayor told us, every lodge mate stood and cheered. Trev, no fan of conflict and quite eager to diffuse, pleaded, please don't mind my friend, he's upset at the news. Paper shuffler grinned, there's more. Your lease expires tonight. Better get off home unpacked. The bailiffs aren't polite. Dragon leaned across the desk and gave a toothy grin. Then he slowly winked an eye and said, your kind won't win. You can bully Trevor, 'cause he's got a heart of gold. But me, I'm just a dragon. And though fiery, mine is cold. Smiling Clark just pointed to a notice on the wall. Customer is never right. No, never right at all. Staff are armed with shotguns. Don't complain and waste your breath. Any disagreements could result in early death. Father Brown the minstrel played a corner of the square. Every day of every week you'd always find him there, dressed as Roman bishop with a gown and pointy hat. Always cheerful, smiling, and he loved the chance to chat. People came with problems and departed with a smile. Heavy hearts unburdened, lives made better for a while. So it was that Trevor, on his way across the square, stopped to greet the busker when he heard the dragon swear. Shockingly, a crossbow bolt had passed through Dragon's ear. Examining the hole, he said, "No, what has happened here? Unrequested piercings? I've a good mind to complain. Let's go see the council. Trading standards their domain." Mr. Brown warned Dragon, "You and Trevor better fly. That was aimed to kill you, and they'll have another try." Hastily, they flew away and ducked inside a cloud. Dragon said, "Where I am from, that wouldn't be allowed. Ambush with a crossbow is a coward's way to fight. Better in the olden days with lance and armoured knight." They were brave and hearty souls, and never seemed to win. Greater source of protein, though, we cooked them in the tin. Trevor said, "But that was then. Now, in this modern age, we have laws and legal teams that victims can engage." Dragon grinned and pointed to his wounded, bleeding ear. "Apparently, that only works when constables are near." Then he chuckled loudly. "Shall we go and have some fun? Shaking up an enemy is how a war is won. I want to find the archer and to blow the guy a kiss. If you want to shoot a dragon, then it isn't safe to miss." Diving down towards the ground, Trev scanned the market square, saw the figure dressed in black aim up into the air, watched the quarrel leave the bow to intersect their flight, felt the rush of wind as Dragon speedily lost height. Falling into Duck Pond, Trevor saw his friend's eyes close, shocked by the convulsions of the dragon's final throes. Choked as the assassin moved in closer to his friend, saw him raise the bow again, and knew it was the end. Suddenly, with blinding speed, the dragon blew a kiss, and quite unlike the crossbow bolt, his weapon didn't miss. Then he belched a cloud of smoke to hide young Trev from view, dodging strikes from scimitar the scorched assassin drew. Lightning fast he swept a claw, pursuing his attack, knocking his assailant down unconscious on his back. Laughing he disarmed him, and he sat upon his foe. "Now then, little tasty snack, there's things I want to know." Trev emerged from Smogbank as the injured man awoke. "Hiya, mate, what happened? Couldn't see for all the smoke." Dragon chortled, "Dinner has a tale it wants to tell. Might involve her brasswick. I can sense her vicious smell." "Hey, I know that fellow who's a friend of Lady Mayor," shouted Brown the cleric as he ran across the square. "Better get the constable and keep the man restrained. No one's safe until that nutter's in a cage and chained." Constable McDonut calmly strode towards the scene. "Now then, Trev and Dragon, why this fighting on the green? Scrapping out in public, even if it's self-defence, means I could arrest you for a criminal offence." Dragon started smoking, but McDonald wasn't scared. Dressed in heat-proof armoured suit, the lawman was prepared. That and 7 firemen aiming hoses at the pair gave our hero second thoughts. These people don't fight fair. Mr. Brown, the minstrel, noted this ain't Dragon's fault. He and Trevor victims of an unprovoked assault. Donut noted, no one cares, we want this dragon out. Him and that big friend of his, the ugly, scary lout. As official constable, I'll grant them a reprieve, only on condition that they pack their bags and leave. Turning round to Dragon, I've warned you in advance. Pack your stuff and leave the town. This is your final chance. Dragon burst out laughing. Hey, I know when I am beat. Take your failed assassing, as he's not a comfy seat. Winking at our Trevor, grinning Dragon said, OK, those that laugh and run away can prank another day. Trevor and Dragon flew back home, acknowledging the fact that they had to leave that night and needed to get packed. Trevor grabbed his battered case and placed his life inside. Looking at the meagre pile, he closed the case and cried. Dragon filled his massive trunk with centuries of gear, ripping out the kitchen sink to take a souvenir. Dragging all the luggage through the door, they turned to go, homeless, vagrant wanderers, when someone said, Hello? Mr. Brown the busker, in a garish bishop's gown, shouted, Dragon, I've a place outside of town. Here's the keys, just move straight in, I count you both as friends. Best you keep your heads down till the mayor's tenure ends. Off into the distance was an angry buzzing sound, followed by a piercing scream, and curses quite profound. Dragon laughed and said, I think a parcel has arrived. Nice to know the hornets were delivered and survived. To be continued. Hope you enjoyed this. Thank you.